Why Jesus didn't marry? Jesus has no wife in the Bible, but there's a popular modern theory that he did. It's purportedly based on some ancient writings. These are various Gnostic manuscripts. Indeed, various lost Gospels claim that Jesus had children. However, these sources are mythological. They were written centuries after Jesus' death. Their authors sought to portray Jesus in a way that suited them. In most legends, Jesus' wife is said to be Mary Magdalene, but that would have certainly been mentioned in the Bible. At that time, women were introduced as wife of so-and-so. This form is often used throughout the Bible. Moreover, there are two Marys in the New Testament. There's Mary, mother of Jesus, and Mary Magdalene. Most of the time, they're just called Mary. If Mary Magdalene was Jesus' wife, the Gospel writers would have used it. Mary, wife of Jesus, would have cleared up any confusion. Yet there's not a single mention of that. In 1 Corinthians 9:5, Paul says,
"Do we not have the right to be accompanied by a wife, as the other apostles and the brothers of the Lord and Cephas?"
Surely he would have mentioned Jesus if he was married. Christianity encourages marriage. It defines adultery as a sin. So Jesus' single status also made him celibate. But what did it look like to the people around him? After all, Jesus lived in 1st century Judea. All Jewish men were expected to get married. Childless people were seen as inferior. There's no tradition of celibacy in Judaism. If Jesus was seen as a teacher, rabbi, he'd have been expected to marry. Jesus was about 30 when he began his ministry. Most men of that era married in their teens. Ephesians 5:25 says,
"Husbands, love your wives, as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her."
This suggests that Jesus purposely chose preaching over marriage. A married person must worry about the affairs of earth. An unmarried one can serve the Lord without distraction. To be married and childless would have shamed Jesus' wife. According to Psalm 127 verse 3,
"Children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward."
Childlessness was depicted as shameful by Hannah, Elizabeth, and Sarah. It was seen as a rebuke from God. But Jesus knew he couldn't stay on this earth, so he would have had to leave his wife and kids behind. That would have been cruel. Jesus' celibacy had a curious effect on Christianity. The Catholic Church saw it as the highest form of virtue. That's why Roman Catholic priests can't get married. Neither can the Pope, of course. Other major Christian denominations reject this. However, Orthodox Christian monks are also celibate. In every instance, it's justified with the same rationale. A person who is married must devote themselves to their family. Only an unmarried person can fully devote themselves to God. This contradicts what Paul said. Indeed, Peter, the founder of the church, was married. But Jesus is an exception even among prophets. Most Old Testament prophets were married. Prophet Muhammad had several wives. Even the Buddha married at 16. But Jesus remains a unique figure in this regard.